Test one, test two. Well done. What we're gonna do. So we can go over to the Netfox Discord. We're gonna listen to this at 2x speed while we do the dishes. Okay. Why? Huh? What the fuck is Matrix? Whoa.
Can come in and add a slot for, I don't know, your Saturday night group calls or your 3D virtual world or your multiplayer crossword game, whatever you want. And so these all are things that get added to your room. And yeah, that is the idea behind a slot here.
Okay, we gotta figure out what Matrix is. What the hell is that? What is Matrix? I've never heard of Matrix. Matrix Protocol. Email services? Where is this supposed to be? Matrix Foundation. So it's not UDP though. Ethereum. Oh god. Okay, we're in the crypto space. Are we though? Am I wrong? Maybe not. SIP. I've heard of this. What a day. Okay. Oops. Lovely. I haven't done this yet, so okay.
Is that it is a combination of an application, which specifies what kind of data participants are going to exchange over this slot, and an identifying tag, just so you can have multiple parallel calls or something. Yeah, and so n.call is the very first application that we are proposing to add to the spec. And this is, of course, just the basic functionality that you need for any voice or video call.
Interesting.
But third-party apps are completely possible too. So you could come in with a custom identifier here for your world simulation. And yeah, how this works is an admin will come along and they will send a state event, and this is how slots are recorded in Matrix. They're stored in room state. So yeah, the admin here would send a state event with the application specifying the type, and there can also be some application-specific data there. And the reason why we're using state events for this is because it allows for Matrix RTC slots to be moderated, essentially. They can be opened and closed just by the admins. You can decide exactly what can happen in your room. Yeah, and that way they are persistent and they are authorized. So yeah, the idea is that just like you join rooms, when Alice and Bob want to get together on a call, they will connect to the slot within the room. And so how they do this is Alice is going to send a sticky event. And sticky events are another new concept that we're proposing to add to Matrix. The deal with these is they are just like normal room events, except they have guaranteed reliable delivery for basically up to an hour. So whenever Bob comes along and syncs his client, he's going to receive Alice's sticky event, even if it was like scrolled off the timeline. And yeah, so the nice properties of these sticky events is that they are ephemeral, which is appropriate for these RTC session participations in a way that state isn't. Room state, it's like you can't delete an entry, so it sticks around forever. And they can be encrypted even, and they're also low privilege. You don't have to be an admin to send one of these because they're not a state event. Yeah, and the most important thing here is that Alice's event declares how you can reach her, the RTC transports.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so how this works, well, of course, in reality, Alice and Bob aren't little Lego minifigures sitting in a room together. They are people with computers sending data across a network. And so the way that Alice and Bob end up exchanging their data is they are going to choose a transport. And the transport that we've now implemented for Element Call uses LiveKit media servers. But the idea is there could be more added to the specification for sure. And these are always going to be either resources provided by your home server or maybe some peer-to-peer thing. So yeah, each member will choose their own transport that's given by their home server. And then we let them just upload their media there locally. They decide their own transport because we want to maintain the federated model that we know in Matrix, even for real-time communication. And so, yeah, each member here will then go and also download the media from the other's remote server. And so this seems maybe a little unusual for a calling system because you have to connect to multiple things just to participate. But the reason why I think we love this model and think it deserves to be in the spec is that it handles large calls gracefully without forcing them to be centralized, so you get a nice balance there with scalability. Because the thing is, with large calls, more often than not, many of the users will actually end up converging on the same home servers. That's just how large calls in like office environments end up working. There will be resources like a home server provided by the company that most users are on. And so they will end up sharing transports. And that means that to connect to this larger call, well, okay, it's only of 7 people. Bob only has to connect to just 2 servers to download the media here. And yeah, so the LiveKit servers are still handling the fan out of all of everybody's media, which is the hard part normally for large calls. If you have to upload your media to N other people, that gets pretty expensive for phones that are on flaky mobile connections or someone on a DSL connection. Yeah, and so those are all the basics of Matrix RTC already. So, right, there are 4 concepts you should remember. We have slots. This is how you set them up and moderate Matrix RTC. The admin sets up the slot in the room by sending a state event. And that state event specifies an application, which is the type of data you're exchanging. And then to join, we connect by sending our membership event. And we're publishing our media over our chosen transport, which is described there. So yeah, slots, applications, memberships, and transports. Now, there are a number of other things that I haven't been able to describe here today because I don't have that much time. The interesting stuff is delayed events and notifications and encryption, but there are a number of other talks from last year's Matrix conference. If you're interested in learning about how Matrix RTC works in detail, you can go check those out. And yeah, the MSCs for all of this are, well, yeah, they're all up on the Matrix spec proposals repository, and I think they're not quite ready for the spec core team yet, perhaps, but yeah, they're very close to being sent off. We're making our final adjustments to them, and yeah, so they all need your feedback. Please go take a look at them and see what you think. All right, hand it off to Timo.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for the introduction, or like the main part of the talk, and thanks for giving us a background on the Matrix RTC bits. And now we're at the point where we want to build something with it. So with this like big changes, or not big changes, but this evolution of the spec, we also did some really big changes to our code base to make it all compatible and have a proven implementation for the spec core team. And why we did this, refactoring basically, and adaptation to the new spec, we noticed that we will eventually have a very clear cut in our code base, which basically gives us something like a Matrix RTC SDK for free. And that's what we will talk about now. So how to use it and what can you build with it. So first, this is like a very, very rudimentary overview, what our element call code base looks like. We're building on the Matrix.js SDK, and those are all the parts which are just purely Matrix related, sticky events and state events. And then we have the element call repository, and this, thanks to this refactoring and adapting everything to the new spec, is now also pretty clearly split into two sections. The bottom section is Matrix RTC, and the top section is then really element call. So the bottom section is things like connecting to LiveKit, connecting to multiple SFUs, because that's all not done in the JS SDK. And we noticed we can easily pull out this bottom block and expose it as a new build target. So how does that look like? Basically here this line is just in between the layer, between the yellow and the green block. And that is the API we decided for this Matrix RTC SDK. So it's like pretty small, fairly simple. You have things like joining, leaving, tracking members as a observable. So you see any new joiner and leaver. And then of course you have the super important functions like sending real-time data, sending matrix data, and inside the members, you have the connections to then also subscribe to the data. And we even have like a high-level data observable for all the live data. And now what we are actually now going with the demo is that we use this SDK target and build like a very, very simple HTML template application for the Godot game engine. So you can use all the Matrix RTC bits, like connecting to LiveKit, connecting to multiple SFUs, handling delayed event, handling sticky events, authenticating with Matrix, all those bits, abstract it away, and you just call await, create Matrix RTC SDK, you get an SDK, and then with the things we just showed, you can, let's say, store the data observable into something called data observable. And then you can use that in Godot. So Godot has like a pretty nice FFI basically for JavaScript. So you use the JavaScript bridge, get the window interface, and then do .matrix RTC SDK, what we just stored in the window. And then with this SDK, we have access to our data observable and all the other things. But let's just look at the data observable one. And we can use this in a game engine to build games with it. And that's where I pass over to Valère, showing you.
Hello, so my name is Valère, so I'm going to show you like the Godot part, so the part that probably will fail. So yeah, because we wanted to show like everything we do in Matrix, basically we build upon building blocks that you can reuse to do more things. So the sticky events, you could like send events that have additional delivery guarantee. Super important to say I'm in the call. We have the delayed event, so now you can do scheduled event. I can send this event tomorrow at 10 a.m. You can do self-destruct event, but we wanted to do a game. So this is a full local setup here. I'm going to do live at first. We're going to try live after, but you can see already that it's a various federation So they're not running on the same home server. And so the first part is, this part is matrix communication. So you can see the other side, say join game. So I have now a game. So here, everything that happened was in the room. So I'm aware of the membership. Now I'm going to do start, but the start is going to send events via the data lifetime layer, and I'm going to send the jumps. So I can only jump for the left player, so one of them will fall upon. So you should hopefully see me on the other side. Like you can see that I'm actually, so this is like using two different live kit transport. And now, for the matter of this talk, we created a public room. I mean, maybe Timo, and I will start the game. So the room is here. It's flappy-rtc.fosdem. So you have to try from desktop. I don't think you can from mobile. There is no widget support yet. But if you can, we will let this room open a bit if you want to try a bit later. Let me first start the game. So I'm waiting for players. So that's the part where we see if we have good network.
No, it sucks.
It sucks. You're stuck. So okay, I have a demo. I mean, I've recorded something. So it's like when we started that, I said, "Oh, how hard can it be to have rollback network code?" Because I wanted it to be like really real time. I wanted the birds to fire bullets, things that make you do small jumps. So I said, "Wow, rollback network code, it's easy." But here it was with a bad network, and you will see that the other side is like rollback and catching up. So it's teleporting. But yeah, that's how it looks like with two people in a. So let me go back and see. Oh, it's 3 players, right?
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, that's the time. 4. Let's try it.
2, 1.
Oh, well, which one am I? Okay. So if there is too much lag, it's going to lose the players. I'm dead.
I'm still doing all right.
So yeah, that's basically the game. So you can add that. So I think I will push that to GitHub if people want to try it in some workroom, if you want to have a break. Oh, so I don't know who is top one. Oh, there is 5 players, so there is 1 player more. So there is also another game. I just want to show you how. So it's a widget. So basically, I can go here, an extension. We have another game. I won't be able to type, but because I'm holding the microphone. But just to show you that now it will ask you for a role of permission. It's a bit scary. So like the widget want to take control of your life. So it should be loading. Or maybe I already loaded. I don't know. Oh, this is the wall. Okay, so there's a lot of legacy events here. So that's something we need to work out in the widget API to ask you a bit, to group a bit the permission. So this, and yeah, this thing, last bug, it's requesting that several times. Okay. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, we do have a couple of players though.
How can I get rid of that, Timo?
Oh, you just have to press it as often as it called it. Yeah,
Okay.
There we go.
So here the game is like you have to type. Oh, I have to do something. You have to type to. Oh, you have to start the game, right?
I think it started, yeah. So everybody just types if they are not sure what exactly, they can look at the 3-letter preview on the bottom left corner. And then we have multiple people on the track. I think for Valère, they
I don't know. I'm still.
on my computer they are shown as little Godot icons.
So of course one of them had to fail.
But as soon as one person will make the full round, it will send into the room how quick they were.
It looks a lot better on this one.
Yeah. Should we just plug? Oh, probably it's not too
Last time we tried to plug. I can try to reload it. Oh, yeah. I think I already. I mean, let me unpin this one. Maybe it doesn't like it, and there are 2 of them. I think I already clicked on that. Oh, I can see people now. Oh, they are, okay, okay. How much do I have to click in there? Oh, I'm not clicking. Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's...
Okay, so yeah, people are racing. You race by typing the letters. Let me try to go. You could have put some real words, no? Yeah, so that's it. So like this is built on top of the Matrix RTC, just to show like other thing you can build with the SDK. So any questions?
Right now you only have a JavaScript SDK. Do you think on having other SDKs or just for if I want to make other games with other languages, for example in Go, and use this real time for backend that I have, can I use it? I guess I have to use it. Have to be my own SDK on top of the Matrix.
I mean, you have to do that sort of. I'll repeat the question. So basically, if you want to do a game but using something else that Godot, another language. So you just have to have that sort of bridge. So as we say in Godot, it's quite easy. Like they have a JavaScript bridge. I mean, it just allows me to get a. I don't know if people can see things. But I'm just getting the bridge, I'm getting the windows, and I'm getting the match.c. So if you have that bridge, then it's just a matter of listening to event. And
yeah, but if I'm not using Godot, so I don't have this ability
yeah.
to the JavaScript SDK you have.
Or you can do the game in JavaScript, and I think we'll just work.
If I'm not doing it in Java, my point is I want to use the RTS you have for Matrix or something, another technology. I'm building games in Go, for example.
Yeah.
So I cannot use in the engine that I'm using, which is not Godot, I cannot load JavaScript for that matter. So I can use it. I'm guessing I have to be my own SDK to connect to the RTS.
Oh yeah, probably. If you cannot use any of the GS SDK, you have to build some kind of SDK.
And I think there's another dimension, I think there's another dimension to this question. So basically, the way we develop RTC applications currently is always as a widget. That has a big advantage that you don't need to build Matrix account with all the encryption keys, but instead Element Web or whatever other trusted widget supporting client you have will do all the encryption and key backup and everything, and the widget can just talk what it really needs to talk with this client. And as soon as you do a widget, you're forced to use an iframe anyways. So the alternative would be really building a full Go client with then also a Go-based Matrix RTC SDK. So then you cannot really benefit from this work. It's really mostly beneficial for widget developers. And our idea is also that this is basically the safest and most sane way to do RTC applications, because you get all the security benefits from not leaking your full key backup to the RTC application. Yeah. Oh, well, first, okay.
So as far as I understood, the transport part is also abstracted in the SDK, not only the signaling and managing the slots in the pictures. So if I were to use some other transport like sockets or web transport, that would be the place to implement support for that.
Yeah, exactly. So basically the SDK currently is very much focused on real-time applications, not really voice and video. Since you have multi-widget support per room, the idea is also that there will be dedicated m.call implementation that do your calling, and if you want an experience like talking to people while playing a game, you would just run two RTC applications at the same time. And yeah, to keep the SDK just focus on the data transport. And then, yeah, if you have a different kind of transport, it would all be abstracted away in the RTC SDK, and yeah, you could use it. Okay, yeah.
We just learned in the previous talk that the Rust SDK is so much better. So is there a plan to move from Rust, from the JS SDK to Rust, or not?
Yeah, I can also do a comment on this. Maybe, yeah, we also hear other comments. So basically, as I said before, most of Matrix RTC currently is built for the widget target, because that makes a lot of sense for the current use cases, and maybe also for a couple of future use cases. And of course, the best way to use a Matrix RTC application is to have a Rust SDK client exposing a widget API over the Rust SDK, and then just having your actual RTC application running as a JavaScript widget. Otherwise, you would need to build or there's discussions for building modules of the RTC logic in Rust and then run it as WebAssembly in the widget. So I think we really talk about like a full-fledged Rust-based Matrix RTC SDK as soon as people start to build native implementations of voice and video calling, which are not iframe based. Maybe somebody else wants to add something on top?
Yeah, I would just add that, let's see here. I would just add that the dependency that like element call, for example, currently has on Matrix.js SDK, it really doesn't need to be using JS SDK at all because, yeah, it is ultimately just making widget API requests rather than client-server API requests. And so the only reason we've gone for JS SDK there is, I don't know, we've sort of hacked it so that it redirects things over the widget API and just has a familiar sort of JavaScript interface that lets us develop element call for widgets and this like standalone SPA mode at the same time. But I don't think we want to have the SPA indefinitely, at least like once we get all the features of the SPA working just within our Element Messenger clients so that you can even like do guest access through them. At that point, we would probably be able to switch away from the JS SDK and have something more custom made for widgets. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anything else? No? Okay. Thank you for coming to the talk.
Interesting. What's up? We're looking at Matrix Protocol, which is apparently real time. Apparently they have a element. Oh, here it is. A lot of Discord open source alternatives out there. I'm just kind of looking at a couple because this one has some interesting P2P real-time cases. But the problem, I don't know about Element. Let's look at Element. Does it do video calls? Calls. Where am I? What channel am I in? I'm in the Godot channel. Okay. That's fine. Godot, wow. What up? Let's see if we put the itch link in the description. I don't remember. We're getting there. We're getting there. Just getting started here. Yeah, I didn't put it in here. Oops. New to Godot and found some of your videos very interesting to see. Welcome to Godot. It's a great place to be. Great engine. I'm playing now. Yes. Yes. Godot supremacy. I hope it all works. You know, I'm just like dreading there being some issue. So far so good. But okay. So today we're gonna create some more learning material. I think we're gonna make a. Oh right, we got a long comment from a first-time chatter here. Watched a bit of your videos on making a co-op game. It's still a bit unclear what makes a co-op so much easier convenient than PvP. I was thinking it's a co-op game where there would be definitely friendly fire. Yeah. Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, you can do that. You can have PvP. I have PvP in my co-op games. You just turn on the friendly fire setting. It's not hard. You can always just have friendly fire on. Yeah. The thing that client authority affords is a simpler implementation compared to like a true competitive game where you need a server to remediate or judge over all of the players. In a competitive game, the server has to be the main authority. You cannot trust the client. That's to prevent cheating, and whenever there's matchmaking or leaderboards involved, you have to have server authority. So all the complex topics about rollback and client-side simulation, reconciliation, those are very complex, and they're necessary because of the server round trip. Now, I recommend starting out at least with client-side authority, like in my videos, because it's easier, it's simpler, you don't have to do all that, and it's smooth. And you can still do, friendly fire and killing each other, but you just don't want to give people a reason to cheat. And, if you have people going out there and trying to cheat in your game, you've probably already had a great success, right? So I think it's really early to worry about cheat prevention and matchmaking and such like that, like when you don't have a finished game on hand. You're going to run into more complications with the server authority side, So I have all these charts in my video, right? And we're actually going to do something I think this topic is really interesting, and we should look into it in more detail. Let's see these charts. I did not show the charts. Interesting. So it's more about the stated goals of the game. Yeah, it is always about the requirements for the game, right? Every game is different and has different requirements, and the games that I make tend to discourage cheating through social contract versus technical approach. So if you're making a game like Valorant or Arc Raiders, you can't trust what the client is trying to send you. So you have to have the server approve every action in this model. That means server authority. He's a referee. You don't need a referee if you're playing more casually, right? And so I just give full authority in my videos to the players. I trust them to update their position. I trust them to update their rotation, where they're shooting from. They're not hacking. They're not going through walls. They're not trying to shoot everyone on the map at the same time. Now, they could absolutely do that. They have full reign. I'm not restricting them in any way. They can transport themselves halfway across the level. Games like Lethal Company will do this. Like, that's why you see randos will join in a Lethal Company lobby and they'll just fuck everything up because they have full authority. They have like basically admin privileges. There's no server there to check. Hello, Scott. New to Godot. Yeah, we already saw that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. We've read all the chats. Excellent. We're gonna, I think, make a video or a short on authority as well. Like, it's not simple, but I've done both. Yeah, no problem. Like I've done this side of things with a library called NetFox, and you can do it. But all of these competitive things, again, are trying to, fix this issue where you're not actually in direct control of your player body. You're just like this detached keyboard and mouse. So we have these little players here, and I'm gonna make a new branch in here. There's a lot in here, but I don't think I changed anything significant. That's fine. Get reset. NetFox is in here. It won't matter for probably if you are a indie developer or a solo developer. It's not going to matter until you have like a big hit on your hands. At that point, you've got to scale, you've got to do this, and try not to make a game that's hyper competitive and gives people an incentive to cheat or hack your game. If you've got 4 players to a lobby max and they're all friends, the social contract is going to hold pretty well there. It's like, if you want to try to fight the cheat prevention battle, you're welcome to do it. It's just, get a whole team, write your own network layer, boot up expensive servers. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it, Andrew P. Your valued opinion. Your opinion is very valued. So, hire hit squad. Yes, that is a great solution. I don't know why the big studios haven't thought of that as cheat prevention. Like, we will come to your house and Rainbow Six Siege your fucking office if you cheat. That would be a great mechanic. So actually, the best cheat prevention mechanic that has been discovered to point is actually, Pinkerton. The Pinkertons. That'd be a great new business idea. But the best cheat prevention so far is to actually just pair all the cheaters together in their own invisible lobbies, shadow ban them to hell. So they all match with each other and they're all cheating and they're together, and it's just, they don't even know that they're isolated from the rest of the player base because they're all like, fuck these cheaters. So you're the cheater here, you dumbass. Who can cheat the best? So yeah, I mean, matchmaking is so challenging to implement too. Yeah. The GTA dunce hats. You want to try to not let them know you've detected them, right? So you want to lead code. Oh my gosh, what the fuck? Reified is giving me some PTSD. Look, I bet I'm not even logged in. Yeah. We're doing something more fun than leak code for sure. Yeah. You figure out who can cheat the best. Like, it's really great because they don't know that they've been detected. They still think everything's fine, so they're not going to change their cheat method. Yeah. All right, so let's do a new branch here. I think this is Okie dokie. Okay, so what are we going to do here? We are actually going to create a new map. This is not the right project. The OS schedule can't give you time quant. What the heck does that mean? Did you know that OS scheduler can't give your time quant for a long time? What the hell? You have to be a little more clear on that particular note. That one I'm not 100% sure. If I turn on my home router UPnP option and set up UPnP API in Godot, can I create online multiplayer games with it? Yes, but I think other people would have to turn on their UPnP as well, which is not an ideal circumstance because now you've got to distribute those instructions everywhere. Now, I'm actually not 100% sure on that either because UPnP just hasn't had very good support in the last couple of years. I haven't seen it work very often or very well. So you'll have to do some research, but I used to use UPnP for my first few games when I first started game dev, and I enjoyed UPnP. I thought it worked great, but it sort of just stopped working. These are all jittering. I wonder what I did. I don't think we'll have to worry about it here. There was one user that I asked like what mechanics you want to see next, and one of the mechanics that they wanted to see was picking up other players. I'm like, huh, I wonder. I might have something for that. Oh, on-site. On-site scheduler is what he meant. Sorry, I'm coming back. I don't know what that means. The one thing I don't know from your co-op video is how to differentiate between you playing with your friends and me playing with friends. Basically, a server lobby. Yeah. You're playing with your friends and me playing with my friends. Basically, server lobby. So at the time that you finish the first video, you have to go into the second video, unfortunately, to basically complete the loop. The reason why is that when we leave off on the first project, we actually don't have a way to play with friends. So part 2 is out yesterday, and what that will do is we'll take your first part and it will add a new method via WebRTC and Tube to create a session. And now at that point, you have in the corner here, I just pressed the menu, this copy to clipboard button, and it'll copy automatically when you join. You just paste in, and then now when you package it up, which we also do in the video, we package the whole video up. This is how it works. You have a lobby system, and we have little like fake enemies in a way. These guys here, if I go over and try to finish one of these off, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go 1, 2, 3, and this last shot should kill it because they have shared health across the network. So this is the game you can play. You can actually play this in itch right now. You can bring up 2 browsers, or you could send it to a friend. Just use the tab key. That's one thing I should do, is put a little tab button in the top left corner. That's not embarrassing because the first game isn't complete. The first part 1, doesn't give you a way to play together. The eNet multiplayer peer we set up in the first game this IP address, we would have to create an aws.ec2.internal.dns. And then we'd have to put that on an internet server. And then we'd have to open up our ports and put it on a EC2, and that would be suck. But if you do want to do it that way, that's fine too. But part 2 will take you all the way through setting up these new sets of functions that are almost identical. Just, you know what's funny though? I realize now, like, this is the kind of stuff you see when you're looking at it again, is that I could have literally taken our create server stuff and just been like, if tube enabled. Pretty sure, right? But we duplicated the tube create tube join, and that's okay. I think it's a learning opportunity. We would need to not do this and just do this. We would just say if tube enable. That's pretty funny. But learning project, you can improve it however you want. You've got all this stuff there. That's pretty funny. I did not realize that. It is, and I wouldn't call it a mistake. I would call it intentionally unoptimized, if that that still counts as a mistake. So what we're gonna do real quick while we're in this project is we have our Kenny prototype kit, and what this does is give us some input prompts, keyboard and mouse. Let's grab this, open. I can actually navigate to the file manager using that button and drop one asset. Oh, it's already in there. Hell yeah. Okay. As a solo developer, creating a multi-game is very hard, you think? Is it? It is harder theoretically than a single-player game, but you're just going to multiply your fun. Games with friends are good games, and games are social these days, and I think that it's worth it, but you do need to tread carefully, learn some things. I actually just read an article that's kind of like, for kind of intermediate, it's like, you think multiplayer game is out of reach? It's not. I've made all the mistakes, so you don't have to. I don't know about this title, but we just kind of go through some common mistakes. Mixing server and client. We give our definition of authority, which I'm going to cover again soon. So you can go long form, read that. I'm curious we're getting such low frames there. I don't think I did anything differently here. Player UI. I'm very happy to have found this channel. I'm glad. Yeah, this is a good channel for Godot and things in general. I have a component here in my other project. I can actually borrow, unless let's see where I put that. Got so many versions of this thing. Oh, let's go over to a game jam game. Where is the mask? Menus. Here's a UI folder. Damn. That's rough. I was almost certain I had this in here. Unless I put it in assets. I don't think I did. Controls, there it is. So I'm copying a entire scene. And it would be great if you could just paste the scene from another thing. You could just paste it in here. But what we've got to do is, again, open in folder, show in file manager. Just do a little of that. It's fine. It'll figure it out. For me, it's a terrible time to find this channel. I need to finish my first ever game project. I'm already on theme at the next one. I'm so sorry that you're going to have this difficulty, but I do a lot of prototyping, and each time I make a prototype, I learn more. So you'll learn more here and there. So we just make this off. We do that. You can do it slow and steady. Do I really need to have this theme? It won't let me open it without the theme. Interesting. We can get the theme. Oh yeah, we got it here. Theme. So now when I open this, I'm like doing this for like one button, but it's a very important button. It's the tab button. So now we have a nice set of controls here. And we've got all these fancy controls from our other game. Bye. They're gone. Wonder if we should keep the theme or should we let it go? Let's see what it looks like when we apply it to our main menu. So I love theming. I do, web development by trade, I guess you'd call it. So if I go into my main control node here, this is the whole thing. I have theme on the right side. I can pick one. I've got this minimal theme here. Oh, Tube Inspector comes with a theme. I'm going to try mine first. Ooh, I don't know. It's too big of a change for the template project. Maybe I can make this a branch and just push this up to the sample game or the finished files. Because when I do part 3, it would be better if all the visuals match, so I shouldn't do this. I don't like that theme at all. I don't like the tube theme. I think it's not quite what we're looking for. But I like that theme. It's kind of hard to read. It's not the best. Any opinions? I don't know. So this is it with, and then if we reset, it's very plain. Some people are very much dentist people for UI. I'm okay with I get addicted to it for some reason. I really like UI. I'm not great at it. I think it's hard in Godot as well, but easier than multiplayer. I was very happy when I created my first LAN game using eNet multiplayer peer. No problem. Great job. eNet multiplayer peer is a very good peer to start with, but all of the peers work very similarly with the same signals. So make sure you read the Godot document, the docs, and then you can translate the docs into, you see this in the corner? You can pick any of your languages, you know? It's going to be there. When you click on this, you get to see eNet multiplayer peer. You can make your own peer. You can use offline multiplayer peer for a single player game that's compatible with multiplayer. And then the one I use, WebRTC peer, and then WebSocket peers for more turn-based. But they do all the same stuff. Then you can go one level down and you get to send your own packets, craft your packets. I do not do that right now. Yeah, we're not going to change the theme. We're going to delete the theme. That's just a silly thing to do. Okay, theme deleted. Yeah, use the real translations if you can on the Godot docs. And there are more than that. There are lots of like tutorials in the Godot docs too, in the high level. So just search, let's say server. Oh yeah, these are actual, that server network. I think there's some. Yeah, you can read all these high level multiplayer. Here's a lobby definition. See, they use all the same signals we use. I should have trued up a little more to this. They do this load change scene to file. I do it a little differently. That's pretty cool though. And they use a RPC. That's kind of complicated. This is nice. Yeah, this actually works pretty good. We kind of get there a little quicker. We've got fewer lines in ours. That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool. I think these docs, of course, are great. Okay, we have this. This is clear of theme. Delete. Hello, minus. 1 2 1 2. We're just gonna add that little baby tab button. I'm adding just like the slightest bit of UI here, just so to help people understand that there's a menu. So now We go to our open menu. It's pretty easy. We need to put our control bar in here. Do that. I just finished the tutorial for my game. Are you talking about the tutorial I made, that the part 1 or part 2? There's 2 parts. If you're going to use your old WebRTC through itch, just spawning the projectiles a non-active state when I spawn the player overkill. So you're trying to, yeah, maybe be a little more clear on the question, because we're talking about a non-active state on the projectiles. What exactly would be a non-active state? I'm going to add this to the open menu, and this will just be visible. Okay, so we need to invert the when we're ready, we don't want to hide it. Obviously, we want it to show. It's a bad habit there. There it is. We've got one button. It's tab. Oh, I can also put the fireball one in there. Okay, so that's a great idea. Let's do that. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to take this. I'm going to unlink. I love this new unlink button because I used to have to right click to do that. Edit region, zoom out, snap mode, grid, 6464. Find a nice click. How about this click right there? Boop. Then we say fire ball. Check that out. There we go. We fired the ball. So spawning projectiles seems to give hiccups in performance. I spawn the projectiles and the have a non-active state. Yeah, do that. So we are talking about web optimization. Yes, you can pool. You only really need to just prep the mesh once. And a couple of things you can try. You can try removing the preload. I heard that the preload actually does too much, and just use load. So in the global.shoot ball, I think that's where it is. It's yeah. So I would do this because I know what you're talking about. You're talking about a hang or a stalling when the. See if I think this is this equivalent. Yeah. So there's a couple ways, and I talk about this on the web channel. But I did this for the game The Goat. You can test this out. It has a ton of hitching and too many bullets. I think preload is not advisable in a lot of cases. I just did it because it's convenient. I don't know a whole lot. You'll have to research more. But I have on this game that I made for a game jam, this is a web build. So I have this loading screen because of the web where I play the sound effect in the background. I mute the volume, play the sound effect, spawn all the projectiles, spawn the enemy, and then clean it all up. So that's pretty annoying to do, but that's what you got to do for web. So let's see how I do that. All right. Where is the preload stuff? Preload. So I have this little class over here, preload, and this is what I did to make the balls not be a problem is that I had to play all the effects from the shotgun, and you change these to load, and then I ready a spinner, which looks like this, and I put a big black panel over, and then I just time out 3 seconds. You can be a little smarter than this and try to like do it after you've all done the stuff, but you know, you can try this approach. Just instantiate, add them, and then I queue free this whole preload. Just, you know, and that's enough to really help on the web build. So I have Mask Jam here. I'll link you to this. I think this is public. Scripts probably. Let's see where preload. I just got to be in scenes then. We will find it. I don't like you. Goaty, goaty, goaty. ABCD. Ah, here it is. It's just this one. Try this. Debug video for multiplayer online. Yeah, the performance side of things is a little weird in web. Like, you know, Chrome is going to do a lot better. You've got to be careful of using the GPU because some people might not have GPU acceleration on, so GPU particles are a big no-no. This mesh, this ball that we have in the itch project, like the amount of lag that this is pretty low but it does happen. I'm old. I am very old. I'm ancient. Yeah, so now we have like a little menu. Wee. Oh, that's cool. It's trying to find this session. It failed. Nice. That's good. Looking younger, really. Haha. It's all about moisture. No, I'm just kidding. Drink lots of water. Speaking of, hydrate. I'll get some water. Old. Oh, no, we're not old. We're old, but not too old. We've got coffee. We've got water. I need to make an emote for drink water. Hello, hello. Kira. Kieran Dish. We're just playing our game. That easy. Loving the co-op friend slap. We are getting it done. So what we did is we just added a little menu in the top left. We're going to push that up. Pretty simple. I think this is good and getting good. It's getting good. What else did we change? Nothing. Yeah, we'll try load on that. All right, let's do that. And then, of course, we have to do this. We're going to take our project, export, runnable, export. Make sure you save it as index.html. Okay. Okay. Close. Butler. That simple. We got to cycle through our comments, make sure that everyone's got what they need. Looking good. Gotta add the PvP. If you can't grab your friend and throw them off a cliff, what kind of friend are you? That's a good point. So perhaps you might have been the person who asked for grabbing your friend. I think that might be the same username. I don't know if you were watching earlier, but I do have that. Oh, I do have that. You know, I've got that right here. You've got to be able to do that. You're right. This is our test project here. We're going to be working on this today. So let's go ahead and debug. Let's do offline. Join. Did I ask and then receive? Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't ready to provide you yet. It's gonna be close. But I do think you could look at this, and I might be able to share you the code, but the code is really needs to be cleaned up. So it's not ready for a tutorial. But in part 3, early preview, we do have this lobby here. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Oh, I have to connect, of course. Connect, create a lobby, connect, join that lobby. You can change your color. And then one more, Andrew, connect, join, and start. All right, so we have 3 players here. And of course, when you ragdoll or you tell your friend to be, I'll throw Andrew in the fire like this. He's ragdolling. Now, if I switch screens over to this screen over here, I can run over. No, come back here. He's going too far. I can pick him up. And now I have him by the... I'm picking him up. I can toss him over there with this toss. Whee! Now go over to this machine to receive him. And then toss him in the garbage. Grab him. Swing him around, swing him around. The funniest fire is always friendly. That's fair. make my own game. I will use this. Let you know how much R I carry. Yeah, you could cheat. I don't know if you meant cheat or chat. Do you value true cashews? Did you know that I love cashews? Cashews are my favorite snack. I eat them so much that my doctor told me to stop. It rhymes. We found a rhyme. Whee! Let's go for a ride. It's a little laggy. I don't know why it's lagging there. I think the collision settings. I like eating foods that rhyme with my name, tofu the lofu. Yeah, that's tough. Really, you should think about that some more. There's got to be something like bofa. These nuts. No, yeah, so this is coming eventually. But what we want to do here is create a new map. We're going to call this network demo. World environment. What are we doing? What are we thinking about? Floors, mesh. Do we have the asset library in here? Do we have our ambient CG add-on? We do not have ambient. Thinking about getting ambient CG in here. It's a nice one. So this is a material downloader for Godot, and it hooks up to ambient CG. Yeah, it does have a few errors there. I think if we enable the plugin, boop, close, yes, reload. Ambient CG is like a bunch of free textures. So you can search for like grass. So my plan is to illustrate this diagram that we've cooked up. I'll show you on my other screen. My plan is to illustrate this diagram that we've cooked up in the two different versions of it with all the arrows and all the things. I think I want to illustrate it in Godot in 3D. So it would be fun to do this. That's what my idea is. I drink a lot of water. Pen and paper. I think I've got the ticket. I'll just fill this up with like grass, like a forest or trees. Yeah, so we have proton scatter already. This is one of my favorite grounds, I think. We want the smallest possible JPEG. Oh my god, it's fucking 10 megabytes. Jesus. All right, that's fine. Okay. Okay. That looks great. Except for the whole like being super repetitive and kind of bad and metallic. Now I just go over to the other folder. Let's try this. World environment Rust. So there's a way you can make this less repetitive with hex values and stuff. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I thought this had more like fog and stuff on it, but maybe it doesn't. Now we look like we're in Silent Hill. Just a little bit of fog. I want some better vibes, but yeah, the repeating problem is to use a custom shader. That is correct. I don't have a good one offhand though. And I cannot write a shader myself repeating. You think one of these will work? Try this one with a lot of stars. Found a something you're gonna learn next year. Is this the guy that I think it is? This is different. Okay. Let's try it out. So, okay. Cheap tech, 2 textures away, break repeating pattern. Noise texture. There is a tile noise sampler uniform and give it a low resolution. That's what they say. That's what they say right here. Okay. But where do I put it? I'm not very smart. Do I do a shader material and does it allow? Or do I do a pass? Because I can do next pass, right? It's now all white. Oh, it does take it. Okay, we're getting there. Add some noise. And then we need a low resolution. We had it for a second there. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Definitely breaks it up a lot more than it did before, right? Seems fine. Yeah, it's not perfect. I mean, it's like very interesting to me. I'm pretty sure I'm not using it perfectly. They said like low resolution, like let's go. There's some passes in here that look like they're just like perfectly eliminating the noise. I mean, like there's almost like a LOD thing going on where I can't tell. Learning shaders is like learning witchcraft. It's a science. Yeah. There's a Godot shaders Bible. I purchased this Godot shaders Bible. So I have to go through this and then learn how this thing works. I've got the ebook in my download somewhere. It's a stencil buffer. That's cool. This one is always useful, the dithering and render pipeline, spaces and matrices, shader types, shader stages, lighting and rendering, procedural effects, and post-processing. Ay. He did a good job with this, and he did a good job advertising it because I bought it. All right, so our actual goal here We need a different pano. Got some more panos in here. Let's try this environment. I always get sidetracked in environment making. They should call the shader grimoire. Nothing Christian about that shit. The shader Necronomicon. The shader summoning. Yeah, I'm with you, and especially as someone who's like actually a little bit not as good on math. You know, I do think that I could use a lot of work on that. Math and it's a little scary. Ah, this one. This is the one. Yeah, that's cool. All right, that's feeling better. And we need a directional light. That was the issue with the others. Okay, we're getting there now. I found out that someone gave me a tip that when you do the sun stuff, you want to click this and then rotate in local space. And this makes it so it's easier to turn this thing like without getting it all wonky. Same with cameras, if I'm not mistaken. Because cameras can go all goofy when you're rotating them. Okay. Now we can make it look a lot better with just like the most simplest proton scatter. It's going to fucking lose. We lost all the frames on the world. We're losing frames.